Saturday marks the 98th running of the Hambletonian. Big day of Grand Circuit racing at the Meadowlands. The Hambletonian Oaks for 3-year-old fillies is the second headliner, so to speak, on the card. There's a lot of Grand Circuit stakes. Should be a very good day of racing and some interesting races. I'm going to go over the eliminations and talk a bit about some of the variables involved. In the first elimination last week, Point of Perfect won. Yannick Gingras was on this horse, Burke trainee. They made no bones about it. They wanted a big race out of this horse. They wanted to win the race. They got on the point, didn't look back, went to the half at 54-4, won by a head. This week draws post 5, which is in fact the number one post position winning percentage-wise at the Meadowlands. I'll get into that more in a minute. Coming second was Oh Well, draws a 2-hole next week on Saturday, 7-2 in the morning line. Was a 3-5 chalk in his elimination, but seemed more concerned with just putting in a good race and qualifying. Wasn't overextended, didn't leave really, just dropped in third and sat inside for a trip and came a close second to Points Perfect, so they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, I would think. Coming third was Osceola. This horse is trained by Greg McNair, driven by Doug McNair, had the rail and was taken back at the start. Dropped back. It has braking issues. I think they wanted to make sure that the horse didn't get squeezed along the rail. Wanted to make sure he stayed flat. I think he rallied from like 7th down the lane, and Doug McNair did a great job. Threaded through some horses, tight spots to finish third. So the horse looks like he's handy, has speed. Not sure, if what will happen this week with the 3-hole, what the tactics will be. But I think he won't get the same trip. He'll be used off the gate this week, I'm almost certain. And if he stays flat, he has a shot. Ghostly Casper, this week will be driven by Brian Sears. Benoit Belgeron, trainee, was driven by Dave Miller last week. They raced from the back, which is Colt does often, and they followed their game plan and were able to close nicely to finish 4th and qualify, but they're stuck with the 9-hole this week. In the second elimination, Celebrity Bambino, best bet of the day, went off at 9-1. Gingras liked the horse. He made comments about this horse during the Adios Day telecast. Said that he thought he was coming into the race in really good shape and really thought that he had a big shot. And he was right. He got on the point, didn't look back, never really used the horse or had to. He chirped at him around the 3/4 pole, gave him a little bit of encouragement, and then this guy just pulled away. Strong win, seemed to be well within himself. Paid a big price this week. He's 2-1 in the morning line. He's a thrown off a well-rated mile, and his last quarter was faster than the first. The issue for me here is the horse draws the rail. Gingras, there was some controversy during the post-draw event. Remarks came out that said, Gingras would have rather been able to throw the 1 back. He drew the 1-hole and picked the 6. That's not the rules. Their rules are the winners are guaranteed 1 through 5. I think they're misguided rules. I think if you're lucky enough to get a horse in the Hambletonian, you certainly should be able to pick your own post position if you win the race. I mean, it stands to reason. From a betting standpoint, people grumble about horses not really fully extending themselves or trying to win the eliminations. And that's correct. Some horses don't try to win the eliminations. They're trying to qualify. But in this case, there was no hidden agenda. This horse was good. They wanted him to put a big race in. He did. He won. And now, instead of drawing one of the 5-hole or like his stablemate did, which leads the Meadowlands in win percentage, it drew the 1, which is 3rd in winning percentage and far down the list from the 5 and the 6. So I think something should be looked at in that regard. And I'm not defending the Burke connection or anything else. It just seems wrong not to reward a horse who wins an elimination. And giving him the 3rd choice percentage-wise isn't really rewarding him. And many times a young trotter, trainers won't want them on the rail. According to Gingras, there shouldn't be an issue. He would have picked the 4 or 5 if he could have, but he but that's not the rules. But he doesn't think there'll be a problem. We will see. French Wine came second in that race at a huge price of 32-1. Horse got the pocket, finished second, put in a nice race, has been improving, has hit the board in 9 of 11 at the Big M with 4 pictures. Put in a nice race, big race, and this horse doesn't have any Lasix issues or anything to deal with. He doesn't race with Lasix. He finished well. We'll have to see how much more he has to give, but the horse is on the improve. Tactical Approach came third. This horse draws post 10 this week, is 15-1. Scott Zeron, Nancy Tactor combo. Wasn't used off the gate, was parked a long way, but was able to close fast enough to hit the board, but now stuck with post 10. Fourth place in the second elimination was Winner's Bet. This would be Dexter Dunn's choice. Domenico Cesari trainee. Started from post 10, raced wide the entire mile. Dexter Dunn was able to hold position down the lane. Now starts from post 4. Appears to be a threat, but here's another variable. There's no Lasix in the Hambletonian or the eliminations because racing doesn't have one governing body. Different states, different jurisdictions have different Lasix rules. Now this horse raced the entire mile on the outside without Lasix that he normally does use. So I guess, bettors will have to guess in a way as to what effect, if any, that has on him. Second week without Lasix, sometimes there's some telltale signs that do show up, more so than in the first week without Lasix. So there's a bit of variables involved. Some caution maybe should be taken. Shapes up to be, for the most part, a very even field in a lot of respects. So it should be a fun race, and I'll be back with some comments and selections on xpressbet.com for Saturday. Enjoy the weekend, and good luck.